On today's episode of Watch JR Go, we are here at Arc Pro in Wichita, and they have been welding up the exhaust header for the Ariel Atom. So let's go pick it up. It's done. There it is. All kinds of upgrades. I love it. This is so much better. It's not gonna come apart again. What is going on, guys? I'm Watch JR Go, and like I said, we are here at Arc Pro picking up the parts for the Ariel Atom. Just picked them up, just paid for them. Let's put them in the truck. Hey, put the header in the very special passenger spot there. Manifold looks incredible. I gave him the wastegate and the dump tube to check clearances, so I know that everything's all good there. And he was like, with that tab, it's not breaking again. So, huge engineering upgrade. Huge thank you to Ted here at Arc Pro. The welds inside, they all look incredible. Like it's done right. Let's go put it back on the car. Let's go fast. Also, if you need some welding, his prices, the right price. It was a great deal for the work. So today is one of those all over the place days where I have to go get a lot of stuff done. And one of the things I had to get done was go pick up this OEM spoiler for the R32. And we're just gonna nicely set that where it belongs. And boom, the car looks correct. Look at that. It's already gunmetal gray. I'm not gonna actually put that on the car. It could be painted and it needs a little repair. There's a few little issues, especially that chip on the corner that will need like a touch of fiberglass work and then painted cage too one more time, because this is like what they all look like coming over stock from Japan. They're all pretty much beat. And then of course mine is just, the paint is unbelievably flawless since it's all brand new. When they painted the car, they lost the spoiler, which obviously we all have varying opinions on how it looks wingless, and I just wanted to have a spoiler. It was 150 bucks in case somebody wants it with the car. That way they can slap it back on, have it painted real quick, and be good to go. And the guy met me at LKQ, which is where I was dropping off the old Cube transmission, so we got the core returned on that. Just getting a lot of stuff done today. Now let's get over to O'Reilly's, get new exhaust gaskets, get back to the Atom, and install that new exhaust so we can go fast. Just had to take care of one little issue. I still kind of like it wingless. I think it makes it a little more unassuming, but it also creates a lot of really dumb questions about, is it a GTT or GSTT or whatever. Since I listed it for sale, it's just been a flood of questions. It's not even real, I can tell because there's no wing. All right, I called O'Reilly's a little bit ago. Here's our old exhaust gasket. Let's go see if they've got a new one for us. It should be there about now, and we'll swap this out and bolt it together. And of course, we're taking the boosted board. Why drive when you can go for free? Got here. What's up, Jesse? The man in the van. Ha! I won!
Fastest los, Honda.
I was at O'Reilly's getting an exhaust gasket.
Cool.
You getting a door handle?
Looking for a spring.
All right, I'm gonna assemble it. This is a Ariel Atom. Sup? I don't know where this guy came, he just appears. And anyway, we've got the new gasket over there. We covered it with copper Forma gasket, the copper spray, just so we can make sure we got that extra seal.
It's a quicker, thicker copper upper.
That's right, the quicker, thicker. Oh man. And I've cleaned all the other mating surfaces with brake clean. If you take a look at the engine, it's not obviously flawless, but it looks good again, just like it was when we picked it up from PFI Speed. They had that nice and clean. The exhaust cleaned up, all the flanges. I even cleaned the fire ring on the wastegate and inside it a little bit, got some of the carbon out. If you guys are ever installing a wastegate and you lose this ring right there, that's the fire ring, it doesn't work anymore. Your wastegate, no worky.
It's wasted.
So, the wastegate is wasted. We're basically just waiting on that gasket to get tacky, and it's time to bolt this together. So we've got a few more minutes on that because we just sprayed it with this stuff here. I had a very, very old bottle of Permatex copper spray gasket. And that's just to make sure we have a little extra seal, because I noticed it looked like we had like a tiny bit of leakage around. And that could have been improper torque, you know. Maybe it wasn't exactly perfect, but honestly, it was fine. I just wanted to make sure it was perfect again. So, we're about ready to bolt this thing together. It's gonna be cool. Get to go fast again tonight. Just moved the truck. We're ahead of the game. We've been out moving cars so we can go drive this. That's what's really going on here.
Pre-gaming it.
Yep.
Is it tacky?
It is very tacky, just sticking to my fingers. So, since that is the case, I think we'll just toss it on here and let it get sticky. Well, I put it on real thick, didn't I? Very thick. That's a 3 C's thickness there. Okay, let's put this thing together.
Just tap it in.
Mm-hmm.
Just tappy tappy.
I'm trying to get super easy on it and get that stud started. Ugh! I tried. Oh, is it still sticky?
Yes.
Okay, well, I was doing well, and then I wasn't. It's finally hanging on there on its own accord.
Oh, more Honda jokes. I get it now.
That was a terrible one. For I do not speak of my own accord. Alright, we're gonna put the last couple bolts in here and start tightening this thing down. I can't wait, man. I'm getting pumped already. Just putting the bolts in, I'm getting pumped. Alright, now we just tighten all these up. I think they're 14s, if I remember right. Yes, they are. And we can reattach our turbo, wastegate, all the fun stuff. Put the muffler back on. Get to making the horsepowers. So Gabe's gonna jump in here and put the turbo back on the flange, but before it goes on, I wanted to show you guys the new welds, which you can see very well right there, and the new weld to the flange. And of course you saw that brand new piece of metal that's hiding right between them that helps brace the wastegate back to the rest of the manifold. So this time we should be good to go. Shaft plate, there's not really any shaft plate. No damage, cool, cool. These are all good things. All right, here, I got that.
Cool, thank you.
If you, yep.
Lift that up a bit there.
Boom. It's time for the muffler. So we got the wastegate on, it's got the baby V-band clamp. Very easy to put that on. You align the fire ring inside the V-band and then they kind of line up. Then you just put it on and give it a little squeeze with your fingers and it'll kind of temporarily hold. It's loose until we get the muffler on so we know where it lines up. And now it is time for the muffler after we get all these bolts out of here. And we just bolt those 4 bolts up to the turbo. So in the last video where I worked on the Atom, I talked about the differences between a wastegate and a blow-off valve. And a lot of comments said they kind of thought they were the same. So I thought I'd do a quick overview of the entire turbo system. This is a pretty standard single turbo system. This is the manifold coming out of the engine. This is the turbo flange right there where the turbo bolts the exhaust manifold. The wastegate is pre-turbo right here on the side. So you can see the wastegate comes out and dumps right there so it can bleed exhaust gases off to slow down turbine speed and decrease the boost pressure by decreasing the pressure coming out of the engine into the turbo. So over here we have the turbo. So a quick overview of a turbo. I know it's not the easiest thing to see now that we have it together. This is the hot side. This is where the exhaust gases come in from the engine. They spin around, and in the middle, there's just a shaft connecting these two. So once the exhaust gases go through the hot side, they come out the exhaust flange right there, and then here's my muffler, and it comes out. So that is the hot side. In the middle, we have the center section of the turbo. This is oil in, and you control the flow of the oil into the turbo with like a nitrous jet or something like that, so you can restrict the flow because it doesn't take an insane amount of oil. These are the cooling lines. This is a water-cooled turbo. It uses the engine coolant to help cool the center section down. And down here on the bottom of the center section, you can see that giant oil line that's AN. It comes into the side of the engine and dumps back in right there. It's that huge line. So that's the return from the turbo right there. And to get oil out of the K20, instead of drilling it and tapping the block or using something crazy, it has this Block's oil filter adapter with a little port. And that's how it feeds oil to this turbo. A very easy way to oil the turbo. So here is the cold side. The cold side takes air in through this air filter, air box, whatever it is on your car. Right here, it's just a Canon air filter that's just stuck right on it. And then it compresses the air, goes into the intercooler, So the air is coming in there, spins around. This is the magic part of the meme. You've all seen the meme. It goes through the intercooler. The intercooler passes more air over it because when you compress air, it gets very hot very quickly, way quicker than you thought. The air coming out of the turbo is incredibly hot, far above ambient. It goes through the intercooler, which probably takes 10 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit back out of it. And depending on airflow and the size of the intercooler, all that good stuff. And then we have the compressed air, the boost. Of course, that's what's in the intercooler and coming through here. Comes all the way up the intake tube. There we have the blow-off valve in case it needs to get rid of a lot of boost really fast. It's a vent to atmosphere, and it goes into the engine right there. So, entire turbo system explained. This solenoid right there is the boost controller, and that allows the wastegate to operate beyond its manual spring tension, which is 10 pounds. So on a gate only, we have 10 pounds of boost, and on this with the tune, you can set it to whatever you want, but we're ramping in an additional 6 pounds with boost by gear and stuff like that using the wastegate. So there you go, whole turbo system explained. This is really the car to explain it on.
It's all exposed.
Yeah.
It's really easy. I mean,
it's not that easy to see on a normal car. Yes, this can change. This is the simplest turbo there is, a standard turbo. Nothing crazy. It's not VGT. It doesn't have variable vanes. Some turbos can do all kinds of cool things by actually changing the vane angle. Mostly diesel trucks use a lot of VGT. You can have twin scroll turbos that use custom manifolds that have multiple different size runners coming out of the exhaust, so you can have a high velocity and a high flow section of the exhaust coming into the turbo so it spools faster. This is very simple, old school turbo, and it's just nice to explain it with. All right, all we have left to do now that all the bolts are in is plug in the wide bands and put the tag back on it, and we can drive it.
Wow.
So hook up the wastegate. And I just have that labeled as wastegate side, which is right there, and wastegate top, which is right there. So now with the wide bands it'll run. All right, Gabe and I got this put all back together. Flip that over. And we got the water temp hooked up now, which is a huge bonus. We rerouted all the wires, cleaned all that good stuff up quite a bit underneath the shroud. Got the boost controller hooked back up, which is another win. We are ready to start this thing for the first time in like almost 2 weeks. It's been that long since I've driven this, man. How was I supposed to go that long? New trail? Alright, Gabe and I are gonna go drive it. Time to have some fun. So having a working water temp gauge is amazing. Yeah. So nice to actually know what the engine's doing. Without having to pull the data log. And our AFRs are back to normal. 14 at idle, yeah. And then 12 right there a second ago with a little bit of power in it. And now we got fuel and water temp. What a W.
I don't know what more we can want.
We can't want anything else. We have it all.
Maybe a speedometer.
A speedometer would be okay, but who needs that?
I mean, our hands are already calibrated for
speed.
Well, I was thinking for torque, then our bodies must be calibrated.
Yes. I understand what you're saying.
Speed.
Speed.
I am speed. into the transmission. Uh-oh. That's not ideal.
Well, short-lived, half of one pole basically. I was like, huh, it seems like the engine's not connected anymore. An axle popped out. I know you guys can't see anything, but we'll be back in the shop in a minute.
Here, I'll shed some light.
Ah, yes. So Gabe's got a buddy coming because he lives like right there, and he's gonna hook a strap on to the front of this and help us pull it back. But yeah, it's not even broke. You know, the tripod just popped out, and Gabe and I can't get it to snap back in. We were pushing as hard as we could.
Now, thank goodness Brian was able to come and get us.
Yeah. The last thing, the one thing I was worried about at the track, was the axle breaking, and it didn't break. Instead, it popped out of the tripod, and Gabe and I couldn't get it shoved back in on the side of the road. We had like all of our weight in it trying to like slam it in there, and it wouldn't work. So it will go right back in, but oh well. Huge shout out to Brian for getting us home.
Yes.
He grabbed a tow strap, and we just hooked onto it and towed it down the street. No big deal. We weren't that far, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
And
he even helped us put it back in the garage.
yeah, even helped us push it back in. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I consider this a great success. We just moved on to the next thing in the race car that needed fixed. We've gone engine, exhaust, axles. Axles are the next thing, but we'll fix that axle. It's no big deal. So again, don't forget to head on over to shop, watchjericho.com, where you can get cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I'm glad your friend was like 20 feet away from us.
Oh yeah.
That worked out.
It was great being able to like actually watch him walk out of his front door
Yeah.
and start the truck up and everything.
We were like, oh, okay, cool.
All right, we're good.
Well, this won't be. I was going to call Uber, get a ride home, get the truck, pull this back. All worked out.
Does Uber tow?
I mean,
That could be a new one. Like Uber tows.
Uber tow would be a sweet deal. Hey man, I got a tow strap, hook on.
Yeah.
If I was doing it in the F-250, it would. Yeah.
You could do that.
Anything you want.
Yeah,
Got a
there you go.
semi, need to pull it out of a ditch.
That's right.
F-250.
Do that and Uber tows, and you get a breath mint to go with it.
Right.
You know?
And a water.
Leave us 5 stars.
Well, that's a whole new app. It's better than AAA because it's always close at hand and crowdsourced. And no warranties expressed or implied of any kind.
None.
If you lose your bumper,
Yeah.
part of using Uber tow.
Would that work like a Diners Club thing too?